Africa's future is no longer a subject of debate for its youthful population. They want a share in its governance right away. From Algeria to Sudan, protests have continued to rock some of Africa's major cities, especially those countries run by aged dictators. Unemployment, high cost of living, misgovernance, mixed with a crackdown on alternative views, have bonded and propelled many youth to hit the streets. As a post-Abdulaziz Bouteflika regime beckons after his forced resignation in early April, young Algerians want more than a change of government. They seek a total reform of Algerian politics and governance system.
Ce qu'on veut transmettre à cette mafia, à ce pouvoir mafieux, c'est qu'on n'est pas dupe. Le 102, ça veut dire que Ben Salah, c'est lui le prochain président, même si transitoire. Là, on ne veut pas de Ben Salah, on ne veut pas de Benaïs, on ne veut pas de ce gouvernement. Ce gouvernement est illégal.
A recent ruling against 42 protesters in Casablanca, Morocco, has met with cries of corrupt state from relatives, prompting a rise in civil consciousness among people in the North African country. Though the sentences were first handed down in June last year, more demonstrations calling for the group's release are now being backed by human rights organizations like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch.
Bien sûr qu'on est surpris par la sentence qui a été prononcée, surtout la confirmation catégorique des arrêtés qui ont été rendus en première instance. On s'attendait au moins à une meilleure étude du dossier.
Thousands of Sudanese demonstrators marched on Khartoum on Saturday, reaching the army's headquarters for the first time since deadly protests began in December against President Omar al-Bashir in a bid to oust the East African leader. The angry crowds accused Bashir's government of mismanaging the economy, leading to soaring food prices and regular shortages of fuel and foreign currency. Dogon killings in Mali have prompted many citizens to stage protests against the poor handling of such by their governments. Malians appear to be tired of the massacre as over 10,000 people marched in Mali's capital, Bamako, on Friday to protest the resurgence of violence in the center of the country and President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta's failure to stop it.
Nous sommes aujourd'hui au monument de l'indépendance de Bamako pour répondre à l'appel du Haut Conseil islamique du Mali, qui a décidé d'organiser un meeting dans le cadre du mauvaise gouvernance au Mali. Depuis l'élection du président Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, la élection, soi-disant réélection, le pays va du mal en pire.
The protesters in Abuja are asking Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari to declare a state of emergency in the mining state of Zamfara to stop killings and kidnappings by armed bandits. The government has now suspended mining activities and banned all foreigners operating in the area to stay clear of the area. But as the crisis we're abating across the continent, Libya is returning to the spotlight. Its civil population are now worried by Haftar forces wishing to capture Tripoli, despite efforts by United Nations to broker a peace deal. The deeply divided country is now facing an elusive peace deal as rebel leader Khalifa Haftar has refused to back down on the earlier order to his troops to topple the internationally recognized unity government in Tripoli, to the dismay of helpless citizens who are scared of organizing street protests for fear of being infiltrated. The latest tension came as UN Chief Antonio Guterres visited Tripoli ahead of a planned conference later this month to shape out a roadmap for delayed parliamentary and presidential elections. Guterres is now making a very strong appeal for all military movements to stop.
I want also to say that I visit today a detention center for refugees and migrants. And I was very moved and shocked by the level of suffering and especially by the level of despair that I found. This is, of course, not only a responsibility for Libya, it's a responsibility for the whole of the international community.
In spite of the appeal, Libyan forces under Haftar have continued to battle their way to the south of Tripoli over the weekend, prompting the UN Security Council and the G7 to demand a halt to all military advances on the capital.